Hello, this is Sancho from the Cranial Emission Show. Our celebrity voices are impersonated. Bang? What's the word?
Impersonated.
Oh, are impersonated unless otherwise stated by Ben, Caleb, or Miggy. Hello, this is Sancho from the Cranial Emission Show. Our celebrity voices are impersonated. Bang? What's the word?
Impersonated.
Oh, are impersonated unless otherwise stated by Ben, Joe, or Miggy.
Live from the tasting room of ESB Brewing in scenic Tampa, Florida, it's the Cranial Emission Show.
Interrupting the silence, drop a little science
With an act of defiance.
by the Cranial Alliance.
And Charles was the name that was given to me. And when I'm on the mic, it's like destiny.
Well, he's a mover and a shaker, not a flopper or a faker. If he was on chips, he'd be punching out your baker.
But there's more to this mix in this recipe. Here's a dash of number 2 of the Cranial 3.
First name Miguel, my last name Hito. I'm a mixture of the best, like a sushi filled burrito.
And if you get to know him, then you can go on Miggy.
Got the bitty bitty beats like Buck Spot Squeaky. There's still another part in this play on words. His name is Joey T, and he needs to be heard. Joseph T. Needles Incorporated. The mold was broke when I was created.
If you need a title, he's got plenty to spare.
And if he was a trucker, he'd have a monkey named Bear. Well, I'm the last dog, the final bark of the pack. And now I'm gonna tell you who we are and where we're at.
Cranial Emissions is the name of the show.
Friday night, 7 to 9 is the time, don't you know? ESB Brewery will be live on the air.
Come have a pint with us, we've got plenty to spare.
A show for everyone, alive and departed. Enough about us, let's get the show started.
Now let's get down and dirty with the triumvirate.
Welcome to another edition, folks, of the Cranial Emission Show, the reunion venue here, known as ESB Brewing. It's good to be back. Been a while since we've been here last.
Is it? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm still not feeling hot.
It's probably been a month and a half?
Yeah, been about 5-6 weeks now since we were last here. Where, you ask? ESB is in Tampa at an address known as 333 North Falkenberg Road, Suite D.
Sweet D!
407.
Ah, Jimmy.
Come on up and seek one of 4 different pints to choose from behind the bar. Ask the gorgeous Genevieve to pour you a pint.
That's right, the gorgeous Genevieve.
Of one of ESB's finest. If you want to be a part of the show, you want to call in, you can do so, 813-438-6068. A full slate of topics to get into tonight, guys. We're right now working on, last week, if you listened, we were live from the Lion's Den, and we had the first ever edition of Redneck Trivia, the battle between our own Lou Bob Jenkins, a show contributor, versus the show contributor known as Cletus for the internet program known as Are You Not Entertained? It's also a sister show on Spreaker.com.
I was really entertained, to tell you the truth.
That
was awesome.
That was pretty interesting.
It was fun. I don't know how it was. It felt a little long in the studio here, but from what I understand, it sounded pretty good. Listening over the wave. So
It went really long, but it worked.
Yeah.
It oddly enough worked. I think, it was just the rednecks trying to feel each other out, and I think there was a little buddiness going on.
I think at the end they were trying to feel each other up.
They were. I think there was a little love going on.
They were starting to rally together. I got the sense that they felt insulted.
A little slighted.
By the questions that we gave them, but that's okay. If they are bothered by those, then for the next edition, we'll go a little highbrow on them. I'm curious to see how well they do when the topics are outside of their own wheelhouse.
We'll have Neil deGrasse Tyson choose a few. I can't wait to hear Lou Bob or Cletus pronounce that. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
So I know you're working on you're talking to Ant over at AYNE. I know we're talking about doing a joint endeavor where we all broadcast from the same venue.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool because they don't broadcast it exactly like we do. They've only been around a year, so they're building their equipment and stuff like that. And I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of give them a couple pointers and work with the sound and stuff like that because Ant's not really super stoked at working with sound and stuff like that. So we can get him tightened up on that and just have some fun, man. Get the Skype going, get some calls into them.
You got to start somewhere when you
Yeah.
start doing a podcast. You recall, Miggy, how this show started. And when we started in October of 2010, it was a cell phone on speakerphone.
Right.
We did not have a mixing board. We did not have microphones. We didn't even have headphones.
You didn't even have a Mr. Microphone.
Even Lou Bob's microphone was better than what we
Lord.
started with. And it was, you go back, I still have all the archives of that, and it's hilarious, not because the topics are funny, but because of what we thought was, well, at the time we thought we knew what we were doing. And of course, like anything, the more you dabble in anything, the more you realize how little you actually know about what you're dabbling in.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure if we go back just a couple of years ago when we did have the equipment, it's still comical because you just continue to polish with all the time you put in. At the end of the day, you hope that you get better by just continuing to do it.
'Tis true, sir.
And that's, look, the AYNE guys have, their show's very funny.
Yeah, it's super funny, man.
They put a lot of work into what they're doing. They just got to get boned up on the technical side of it.
Yeah, they got great chemistry. I mean, those guys work really well together. They've all known each other a long time, which is it's good to hear in a show. Obviously, we've all known each other quite a bit. So we have our kinks here and there. We have our ups, we have our downs, we have our sideways frowns, which are even better. Our sideways frowns, which are our ladies, because sideways frowns are vaginas.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah. Whispering high.
For those that are new to the show
Wow.
that have never tuned in before, when you hear us talk about we, well, who are we? I'm Ben Charles. I'm joined by Miguel Hito and the great Caleb Crispy himself, the C Squared. Also, we'd be remiss not to mention Sancho Sanchez,
Hello.
our producer extraordinaire.
Don't forget that he's on vacation in the woods. The Reverend, yes.
That's the Reverend
I
Joey
almost forget
T.
his name. He's gone so long.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while now. It's been a couple months, several months.
Since he's been gone, I've been in the trance.
Since you've been gone.
I've been in the trance. This love needs second chance.
Are you still sick too? Jesus.
Both sound like you're sick. Maybe
I haven't
and
seen him in a
Sancho.
couple of days. He's got some new girlfriend or something.
You guys, his new girlfriend's clearly you. You guys got to stop making out. That's why you
Oh,
both
you
have
can
to say.
suck it, dude.
I thought Sancho did that. Never mind.
That's not funny.
A lot of topics to get into tonight, guys. Obviously, we'll touch on NHL playoffs, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're very excited here as a Tampa program regarding that. We've got a lot going on when it comes to a variety of topics here. Whether it's the usual, we've got some technology topics to get into. We've got some sexy time topics to get into.
The
a whole
professor-
bunch of stuff.
Don't we always?
Professor is aching, dude. He's aching to get in here, bro.
Well, we'll have to work on that.
He was pissed because he's like, I got this thing. How does he go with this freaking? It sounds like he's holding his nose when he's talking, but he wanted to get in on that bionic lens story that we have today. You know, that like Steve Austin's eye thing going on.
Yeah, the old Steve Austin doll
Yeah.
when he looked through the back of the head.
He's like, I emailed you that. I want to get in on that. I was like, dude, I haven't talked to the guys this week. So, yeah, next week I'll get him in.
Well, guys, let's get it kicked off here. Let's start the show the way we do every single Friday, and that is with the beer call. I don't know.
I just sing that song a second ago.
I was just a little too concerned when you looked me in the eye while you did that.
Sancho was dead looking in your eyes.
It's a little uncomfortable. you know.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to get game.
Anyway, so what do we got going here for the beer call? We've got two different samples here
Start
from
with
ESB.
the lighter, which is the Don Bosco. It is a session IPA, sitting at about 5%. Very nice, very smooth, slightly hoppy. It's a very pleasant beer to drink. It's really enjoyable.
Okay, so this is a light IPA, and this is what, a 5%
Yes, sir.
ABV?
Yep, nice sessionable IPA. This
Yeah.
is our first session IPA that we've made.
Oh, wow, that's very, very mellow.
The sail away is at 6.5, so that's not quite considered a session. So
It's got a nice aroma to it as well. It's a little sweet.
aroma.
Yeah, it's a little sweet, but it's not too hoppy or overpowerful. It's just nice and smooth.
I like it. I like it a lot. So now, folks. Oh, there's kids here. And now, folks, we have the Vive Black IPA.
I love black IPA.
This
We
one
talked about
is
this a couple weeks ago.
really, really, really
Yeah,
good.
we've been talking quite a bit about the black IPAs. Now, Miggy, I got to ask you this question.
Da.
With the name of this this new brew. I'm assuming this is named after the gorgeous Genevieve, since it's called Vive.
No, if I'm quite correct, Vive is life or something like that.
Well, yeah.
It's not after
spelled that way.
It's not after Genevieve, though.
It's not spelled that way, though. That's why I thought maybe it was Genevieve.
Bob had a special meaning behind it. I'll have to ask him because this is one of the ones I had a hand in, which I'm very proud of because it came out very nicely. But nice, it's an IPA that's absolutely black. It's got a nice little amount of bitterness to it. We used a lot of dark malts. Next time we're actually gonna cold steep the malts overnight to release the sugars on them instead of heating them up. Because but you still have that nice coffee, but it takes a little bit of the bitterness away if you cold steep it.
Yeah, it's almost got a bit of a stout feeling to it when you go to drink it.
Yep. Uh-huh.
But it does have that aftertaste at the end of an IPA, that hoppy aftertaste.
Yep, absolutely.
So well done, my friend.
Good job.
Thank you so much. So yeah, that's what we got going on with these awesome beers today.
All right.
Excited.
Well, beer makes life a lot more tolerable. We all know that. That's why we all drink it. And we've got a few beer stories to get into here in the first segment. Beer is now known to prolong life. As we begin to see different studies out, we hear this more and more on a daily basis.
This one is about, what is his name here? Mark Behrens. Turned 110 last week.
Lovely old man.
Yeah, he doesn't look 110 at all.
Hell no.
He says that he calls it his medicine. He thinks one of the reasons he's lived so long is that at 3 p.m. every day he has a can of beer. And it's not very specific on what it is. He says, whatever's around, he'll drink.
But it's at 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m. every day. And this guy lived, until he was 106, lived independently and still drove.
Wow.
Had a job as a janitor well into his 80s.
So is he in an ALF now or something? Is he at a nursing facility? I mean, do they have the nurse bringing him his beer at 3 o'clock?
The picture looks like he is. It doesn't say whether he is, but hey, more power to him if he can get him to do it. We had the guy, what was it, the story last week? The guy in the facility who was having prostitutes sneak beer in and stuff for him that he could use as as payment to trade.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, the guy that was whoring and actually distributing liquor and making a profit on it. And when we were talking about that, you told us how it reminded me of your grandpa. So.
Yeah. dirty G's.
That story, actually, I didn't think about it last week, but it reminds me also of my wife's grandmother, and she's in a facility. She's got Alzheimer's pretty bad. Unfortunately, we went to visit her, and she didn't even recognize Stephanie, and that was pretty sad.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's kind of bittersweet now. She's in a facility because she was getting just taken advantage of left and right.
Oh.
And people were coming in telling her she needed to do something on her house, and she would pay them to do it. And
really?
they'd come back a couple weeks later, and they'd just get her again. And so
that's
now,
effed up, dude.
Yeah, it's really bad. It was in California, but now she's in a facility, and from what I understand, she's extremely happy because she thinks she owns the place. She literally thinks everybody is her guest, and everybody there works for her. And she's dancing every night. She'll have a drink at the bar, and she's just living life.
Shut up!
I want to do that. I hope if I'm ever have to be in a facility that I think that I own the place or something like that. Where I can at least be happy.
When you've lived life that long, and you're on the tail end of the ride, if you will, then you deserve those delusions of grandeur. You deserve to feel that way.
You've earned them.
Absolutely.
You have, unlike some of our friends that are a lot younger that have those delusions of grandeur. We know quite a few.
Yeah. My grandma, she was 96, and she kind of was, a little senile-ish. She was kind of losing it a bit. But when I went in there, she didn't remember anybody, but she went, Michael, Miguel.
That's great.
My grandmother's, as if you didn't know Miguel was Michael by now.
My grandmother's, how old is she now? She's 93, I believe, 94. Yeah. Lives on her own still. She doesn't drive anymore, but she still lives on her own. She's still kicking and doing well.
Nice.
Yeah, my grandfather is 96 years old.
Wow. Boom, banging it.
And the guy was always my idol as a kid. He was a professional jazz musician. And awesome. I think I told you about it.
Yeah, that's where the original.
You saw remember the photo at the photography studio of him with the saxophone and everything?
That was an awesome photo too.
And they finally took away his driving privileges, and I'll never forget. He's got a house up in North Carolina. He would spend half the year in NC and then half the year down here. and he would drive up there, pack all his instruments, and he'd still go play gigs in his early 90s.
Wow.
And one year I go